Have you ever stopped to think about that little box, the one on the wall at a secure gate? The interphone.
Right. Or maybe the kind of tactile team uses.
Exactly. They seem kind of niche, but they're everywhere, quietly connecting us.
Uh-huh. Critical pieces of tech.
So today we're doing a deep dive into the global interphones market. And believe me, it's a much bigger deal than you probably think.
It really is. And for this, we're drawing directly from a specific report. It's the Global Interphones Market, Growth and Regional Outlook by Cognitive Market Research.
Okay.
We're really focusing on their projections, looking back at 2021, checking in on 2025, and then forecasting all the way out to 2033.
Got it. So our mission here is basically to, well, unpack the key numbers, find out where the growth is happening, and understand what's really driving this market around the world.
Yeah, give you a quick way to get up to speed on this surprisingly important sector.
All right, let's start with the big picture then. What are the global numbers telling us? What's the overall direction for interphones?
Well, globally, the story is one of pretty consistent, solid growth.
Yeah.
So back in 2021, the total sales revenue was around 2.1 cents, maybe $2.17 billion.
Okay, 2.17 billion.
Yeah. Now, look ahead to 2033, the projection is nearly $5 billion, about $4.93 billion to be precise.
Wow, so it's more than doubling over that period.
Exactly. And that translates to a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 7.1%.
7.1%.
That sounds pretty healthy.
It is. It signifies really steady, robust demand year over year, not a flash in the pan.
Right, consistent growth. Okay, so nearly doubling globally by 2033. That's significant. Now let's zoom in a bit. Which regions are really leading this growth? Where is the action concentrated?
Well, the standout leader, no question, is Asia Pacific.
Okay.
They started at nearly $786 million back in 2021, and they're projected to soar past $1.8 billion, $1.845 billion actually by 2033.
Huge jump.
It is. And their CAGR is slightly above the global average, too, at 7.4%, just over 7.4%.
So what's behind that? Is it just sheer size?
Yeah.
Or... It's a mix of things. Rapid urbanization, definitely. Lots of industrial expansion. And a big focus on, smart cities, smart infrastructure.
Where secure communication is just essential.
Exactly. It's paramount in those settings.
Okay. Asia Pacific, the powerhouse. If we break that down further, which countries are the main players there? Any surprises?
Well, China is the clear heavyweight. It started around $320 million in 2021.
Right.
And it's expected to hit over $760 million by 2033. So more than doubling.
Right.
Japan's also showing solid growth, heading towards $225 million. But India is really interesting.
How so?
Just the speed of its growth. It goes from about $133 million up to over $324 million. That's a huge leap, reflecting all the infrastructure work happening there.
Makes sense. Any others worth mentioning?
Yeah, definitely. South Korea is significant, projected to reach nearly $96 million. And Taiwan is expected to hit over $44 million. So, it's widespread growth across the key economies there.
Got it. Okay, so after Asia Pacific's really dynamic growth, where do we look next? North America.
Yep. North America is the next big player. Generated nearly $585 million back in 2021. And that's projected to climb to over $1.3 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is also strong, just under 7%, 6.95% roughly.
And within North America, obviously the U.S. is massive. Canada, too. Any unexpected pockets of growth like we saw with India?
Well, you're right. The U.S. dominates. It's going from almost $490 million to over $1 billion, $1.08 billion by 2033. Huge numbers.
Yeah.
Canada shows steady growth, too, reaching over $166 million. But the interesting one, it's Mexico.
Mexico, really?
Yeah. Starts smaller, obviously, just over $17.5 million in 2021.
Okay.
But it's projected to hit over $50 million by 2033. And its growth rate, the CAGR, is the highest in the region, almost 8.8%.
Wow, 8.8%. What do you think is driving that specifically in Mexico?
It's likely a combination. Could be new industrial investment, maybe expanding tourism infrastructure needing better security, or just more focus on security in growing cities.
Well,
definitely one to watch.
Interesting. Okay, so Asia Pacific, North America.
Yeah.
What about Europe? How does it stack up?
Europe's also a very significant market. Total revenues were over $530 million in 2021.
Right.
And that's expected to grow to over $1.17 billion by 2033. The CAGR is slightly lower than the others, but still solid at 6.8%.
Europe's always so varied, different countries, different economies.
Yeah.
What jumps out when you look at the country-level data there?
Well, you see strong, consistent performance from the major economies. Germany, for example, goes from about $108 million to over $234 million.
Yeah.
The UK is also substantial, moving from $87 million to over $185 million. France is up there too, projected to hit over $143 million. Russia shows a pretty noticeable jump, nearly $65 million up to over $137 million. Italy and Spain are growing steadily as well. Italy towards $82 million, Spain over $93 million.
So fairly broad growth across the continent.
Yes, but here's a really fascinating point. The category labeled Rest of Europe, it saw truly explosive growth. It started around $55 million in 2021, and it's projected to hit over $186 million by 2033. That's nearly quadrupling.
Wow. So smaller economies catching up fast.
That's likely it. Countries perhaps adopting newer infrastructure, integrating more security. It's the fastest growing segment within Europe by far.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've covered the big three: Asia Pacific, North America, Europe. What about the rest of the world? Are we seeing similar trends, or is it mostly concentrated in those main regions?
Oh, the growth definitely extends beyond the top three. Look at the Middle East.
Okay.
Revenue there expands from about $108 million in 2021 to over $271 million by 2033. That's a really strong CAGR of 7.85%, even higher than Asia Pacific's rate.
Interesting. Which countries are driving that?
You see solid growth in Saudi Arabia, projected to hit over $54 million. Turkey's strong too, heading towards $63.5 million. And the UAE shows significant growth, nearly $50 million by 2033. Think about all the massive construction and development projects there.
Right. Smart cities, huge infrastructure builds.
Yeah.
It fits. Okay, what about South America?
South America shows steady progress. It goes from about $91 million in 2021 to over $182 million by 2033. The CAGR is a bit lower, around 6%, 6.06%.
Yeah, the leader there.
Brazil is the main market, projected to reach nearly $80 million, is $79.2 million.
Got it. And finally, Africa.
Africa is also seeing growth, started near $65 million in 2021, and it's expected to reach over $157 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of about 6.7%. So again, solid growth.
Any key countries to note in Africa?
Yeah, Nigeria is a significant player, growing towards $32 million. And South Africa is projected to reach over $65 million. It indicates, rising demand for security systems and better communication infrastructure across the continent.
Okay, so across the board, really impressive growth numbers. But these numbers don't just appear, right? They're driven by actual needs.
Yeah.
What are the core reasons? What's fueling this consistent demand for interphones everywhere?
Absolutely. The report clearly links this growth to three key demand drivers: security, industrial applications, and commercial use.
Okay, let's break that down a bit. Security seems obvious.
Right. Access control for buildings, secure areas, residential complexes. That's a huge driver. Clear communication for security personnel.
And industrial.
Think about noisy environments like factories or construction sites. You need reliable, clear communication for safety and coordination. Interphones are often built tough for those conditions.
Makes sense. And commercial.
That covers a lot. Office buildings, retail spaces, hospitals, schools. Anywhere you need quick, direct communication between points, maybe reception to an office or different departments. It enhances efficiency.
So it's really about clear, reliable, often secure point-to-point communication where maybe phones or radios aren't the best fit.
Exactly. They fill a specific communication need very effectively across all these different sectors. And that need is growing globally.
And as the numbers showed, Asia Pacific, North America, and Europe are really leading that charge in terms of adoption.
That's right. Their level of development, ongoing construction, and focus on security and efficiency puts them at the forefront of this demand.
So when you pull it all together, we've really seen the surprising scale and the steady growth of this global interphones market. It's one of those technologies that works behind the scenes, but it's clearly essential for a lot of booming industries.
Yeah, it really underscores how fundamental reliable communication is, not just person to person, but for making industries and infrastructure actually function smoothly and safely. It's like an invisible, essential network.
It really is. So maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. The next time you see or use an interphone, maybe buzzing someone into an apartment building or seeing one in a warehouse, think about how that specific use connects to these bigger global trends we've discussed. And maybe ask yourself, what other seemingly small, almost invisible technologies are out there, quietly experiencing this kind of explosive growth, underpinning our world in ways we don't even realize?
Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Okay, let's unpack this. So we're diving into Interphones market dynamics today. Our mission to really get under the hood and uncover the key forces driving, restraining, and transforming this communication tech. It's surprisingly relevant, homes, businesses, industrial sites.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere. So let's peel back the layers. What would you say is the biggest driver right now? My gut says smart buildings. What's happening there specifically?
You're definitely onto something. The rise of smart buildings is a fundamental shift, really. Intercoms aren't just buzzers anymore. They're becoming these digital gatekeepers.
Gatekeepers, right.
Yeah, I think high-rises, gated communities, big commercial campuses, they need systems with remote visitor verification, clear video, audio, and access control all rolled into one. It's redefining how we think about security and just, well, living and working in these spaces.
That's a huge change. And speaking of scale, what about the industrial side? Similar stuff happening. Absolutely. That wave of industrialization, especially in developing economies, that's a massive accelerator. Imagine a huge factory floor or a logistics hub. Instant coordination, safety alerts, these are critical.
Life-saving sometimes, I bet.
Exactly. These systems enable that crucial emergency communication. It's not just nice to have. It's often an operational necessity.
Okay, so secure spaces, industrial needs.
Yeah.
But what about the tech itself? Like wireless and IoT, how's that changing the game?
What's fascinating here is how smoothly it all connects into the bigger picture. Smart homes, smart offices. We're seeing intercoms packed with Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cloud connectivity. They let you do remote monitoring, mobile integration.
Right, from your phone, yeah.
Precisely. Real-time access. They're becoming these, interconnected hubs, truly part of the Internet of Things.
Okay, but it can't all be smooth sailing. Here's where it gets really interesting. What are the major hurdles? The barriers? Well, one thing I keep hearing about is just the cost. The upfront investment for these modern systems, especially with video, AI, can be steep. Plus, the wiring, maybe infrastructure upgrades, getting skilled installers, that's a real budget headache, particularly for older buildings. And then trying to upgrade, you run into compatibility problems, right? Mixing old analog with new VoIP or whatever.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Those gaps often mean you need, like, special converters or custom setups. Not always straightforward.
And this raises an important question. How do organizations manage that? Balancing the shiny new tech with, the reality of their existing setup. The technical challenges alone are pretty significant.
So more connected systems, that must mean more security worries too, data security, privacy. What are the big concerns there?
That's a huge point. It adds layers of complexity and, frankly, cost. You need strong encryption, secure firmware, constant updates. And then there's compliance with all the data protection laws, like GDPR.
Yeah.
A major undertaking.
Right. Okay, despite those challenges, there are some powerful trends reshaping the market. What are the really dynamic shifts we should be watching?
Well, one big one is the rise of wireless and mobile connected intercoms, especially in consumer mobility.
Like on motorcycles.
Exactly. Bluetooth motorcycle intercoms for talking hands-free, or even portable wireless units for, say, remote property access with video. It's all about being connected on the move.
Okay, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, AI and cloud platforms, that feels like a potential game changer. What features are making waves?
Oh, definitely. We're seeing things like facial recognition for entry, voice commands.
You just talk to it.
Yeah, activate it with your voice. Plus remote cloud management, analytics. These aren't just intercoms anymore. They're becoming intelligent communication hubs. It makes them way more intuitive, more powerful, whether it's for a home, an office, or a big institution.
And finally, you mentioned institutional adoption is surging, like hospitals, schools, factories using VoIP and digital systems more. Why there specifically?
Well, because they offer these great value-added features beyond just talking. Think about emergency paging across an entire hospital wing, or building-wide announcements in a school.
Or linking into the main building management system.
Exactly. BMS integration. They become like the central nervous system for these complex places.
So what does this all mean for you listening?
Well, the Interphones market, it's really sitting at this crossroads of connectivity, safety, and smart innovation.
Yeah.
It's moving fast.
It really is. And as demands from consumers, from businesses, from institutions keep evolving, the technology races to keep up. It's bringing us closer to these really intelligent, always-on communication systems. It's less about just opening a door now and, well, more about creating a seamlessly connected and secure world for you to explore further.